Welcome to where still haven't gone outside. Still haven't gone and checked out some of the local stores. A little sketching in the locations, but today I'm talking about transferring over from traditional to digital. I'll start on the first side. Some people who have seen this as a go figure. Kind of collection of different styles of artistry, all living in this one world, kind of cool world meets, I guess, everything else is kind of in that kind of fashion. My attempt to do a manga, kind of gumshoe, noir, sexy. Not very simply comic, I changed them around, it doesn't look the same. As you can see here, there's a lot of detail. I'm not exactly still learning how to do good ink work and line work. As you can see here, as many people know, trying to scan this and make it clean is really hard. And I have an 11x17 scanner. Yeah, look at me. Nope, can't get the camera over there. Mystique makes some good 11x17 scanners, cheap. Some are under $50, some are under $100. If you can find one, get it. Even if the drivers do not quite work with you in the beginning, keep fighting it. Eventually the drivers will click in and you'll be able to use that 11x17 scanner like you really want to. Other than that is doing a little trick I've learned is not using a cell phone camera, but I kind of MacGyvered a rig. That's what this camera is on right now. As many people know, trying to scan this in with the pencil work right behind the ink, and the scanner is so good that it picks up the pencil just as much as the ink, which becomes a real problem. So every little smudge mark, you see where I erased that, which is pretty much a bad idea to erase anything. Yeah. As you can see, this is book 4. I did book 5 of Go Figure, but I never finished it. I never really released it. But back to that. There's many tutorials on how to handle scanning in line art. Some of them I think are really good, but some of them are not very good. Of course, you can mess around in Photoshop and any other art program and sort of pull it out, but sometimes you lose some of those lines in there. Or you have to change it so much that it picks up all the erase marks and pencil shavings and everything else, and even fingerprints. But there is another way. This is Falcon Warrior number 2. I never did get back to this comic book and go on to the other 10, well, other 15 books. It was part of my 20 book run. Create characters, a storyline, and only do 20 books. I was hoping by after the 5th book I would be able to find at least another penciler or writer or inker or somebody to tag team with. Not like I can offer them any money, and the books never really sold to even generate any pull or reason to continue on. Well, Many books didn't sell. As you can see here, there's a lot of penciling, and this is old, so yeah, there's some drawing, figure, proportion stuff issues. But of course, anybody can point out the mistakes and the flaws, but the corrections are always hard to figure out. The right things are kind of lost. But back to this. There is a way of handling this. Especially if you have some old artwork like this. This is a long time ago. One of the reasons why I drew many of the works that I have here is because without detail, without shading, and without really doing much on light sourcing and any pre-effects, because it is hard to alter them once you get them into the computer without tearing them apart. And this is before you had Cintiqs and tablets. All you had was maybe Photoshop, maybe Photo Stylus. I wouldn't count on CorelDRAW. I tried to do a comic book in CorelDRAW that didn't quite work out. And I'm talking about CorelDRAW number 5. And this here is American Schools. By the time this is uploaded, this page should be visible. Another reason why I didn't do a whole lot of detail, other than having problems scanning it in, cleaning up the artwork, and coloring it, some of these were going to be done in a different fashion. This was going to be done in vector. And I haven't seen that many comic books done in vector. So I needed a template on how to, well, where to trace and how to place things. Hopefully the story kind of fills out itself on this one page. Main character is about to maybe get attacked, but he's already planning his attack. He's ready for him. Oh yeah. And who knows what happens at the next scene. You have to read the book. And it's on to plastic. This is Ultimate X, another book that I never continued. Long ways back from high school. You can see all the penciling and inking and attempts to add in some effects. This didn't come out too bad, but I think I needed to do it in a different style. I was trying to color the comic book in a way that everybody else does it. Bold colors and comic book style and marker rendering, but somehow I think this would have lent better to a watercolor style. Or ink. Wash. Or, I don't know about gouache. Gouache is very pigmented. Probably would have done well, since it's supposed to be a night scene anyway. And now to the real deal. This is just an illustration I created. I was going to include it in my portfolio, but pretty much I discovered it was very hard trying to find a company. And you had to go to conventions and hope that you can show off your work at conventions. And still don't got the money to go to conventions. Hey, costs $40 to get in. You may not have $40. But the best way I've found, even though I'm ranting, best way I found to deal with transferring pencil artwork, pretty much you can't really do nothing with pencil artwork other than do it very neat, very clean. Don't try to erase nothing because you're going to get the smears. Scan it in, and there's a couple of tips and tricks on how to do that. It's a whole bunch of them out on the internet, all on YouTube, and also DeviantArt, especially DeviantArt. There's perfectly good tutorials out there. But for me, the best way I found to come up with clean artwork to color was to do something real simple. I used to do this one way of taking this artwork, taking it to Kinko's, Office Max, Home, any of the places to photocopy, get their biggest photocopier, spend 10 cent, 5 cent, make a photocopy of this in a smaller size, shrinking it down, then scanning it. That was why I had 11 by 17 scanner. That was costly but also risky because sometimes you could lose your artwork if you ain't paying attention. That was one way of doing it. It was a great way of knocking out most of the pencil marks that you made by brightening the photo scan, but you also had to worry about the scanner not being clean and picking up extra dirt and extra artifacts and extra parts that you don't want in your book or in your image. I purposely left this half penciled, half ink, kind of to remind myself. I don't know if this is any good for a comic book company. I haven't met that many comic book company people to really talk to and see, because many comic book companies do not have it where you can submit a submission to show what your works look like, or you want to work for them. Here's a little something. Many comic book companies like people who do fan art because now you don't have to worry about can you draw their character. They can see you can draw their character. So fan art is not bad. Fan art is only bad when you try to sell it, call it your own, do not credit the artist, anything of that nature, or even bring the attention to the artist that you would like to sell this fan art. To me, I wouldn't mind somebody wanting to make a fan art of one of my characters, so long as they notify me, because I might want to buy that artwork, the original, or would like to put it in a collection book, and of course leave their name in there as the person who drew that artwork, but it'd be mine to sell, and give them a commission for making the artwork. There's ways of solving fan art issues and ways for fan artists to make money. It's just that nobody wants to take the thought of how to have controlled competition. Maybe one day that word would be synonymous. But the best way I found to deal with taking pencil work, inking it, and trying to scan it to color it into a computer was to do something real simple. Simple as that. Go ahead and trace out that artwork. Now you have a clean artwork. Not so clean as in the lines being all perfectly and wondrous and proportional and thirdish, pyramided and golden ratioed, but as far as to scan this artwork in and to take it into Photoshop or any other art program, now you'll be able to select different areas and make it easier. See, I never knew how to flat. I never did flatting. I'm still learning how to do flats. So yeah, most of the time I don't flat because I'm doing the artwork right then and there. Bad habit. But then again, I never got into a company, so I never had to deal with the need of flatting or the reason for flatting or flatting anyway. And one day, hopefully somebody will hire me, or these books might sell and I'll have to have somebody flat work for me. Maybe I'll learn something. But this is the best way I've found. This is 11 by 17 paper. Now if you have an 11 by 17 scanner, this works perfectly. Matter of fact, this might even work well if you take it to Kinko's or Office Depot, Max, any photocopier, and shrink it down after you did this, because this means that you're not dealing with all these midtones, gradients. You're not dealing with all the artwork smearing and all the penciling, smearing and fading all over the place. You're dealing with something that's sharply white and sharply black, and then you can go in and sample all these black areas and just gradient them back into a whatever gray or tone that you want. You can use tracing paper, works out great. Tracing paper, I have not yet had tracing paper vellum leak, so I can put some heavy black on it and it won't seep through to the other side. Now for this 11 by 17 paper, printing paper, I would suggest putting a page behind it and using your light box or whatever means you have to put some light behind it to trace. Most of this was done without a light box. So that's, to me, the best way to trace, to set your artwork up for coloring into a computer, is to do this. Just trace it out, take the extra time, trace it out, make those final decisions on what is going to be black, what is going to not be black, and maybe even where you're going to gradiate anything. Don't worry about trying to seal up lines that can be happening, that could be done in the computer. I didn't make a full border because I just needed the basic proportions. So this way I can put a black border around this. I haven't yet colored this again. I might. I'm thinking really of watercolor on this one too. That's the best way of dealing with transferring artwork for coloring when it looks like this. Yep, that's the end of my video. Hope you like it. Please subscribe. There's going to be a lot more stuff on here soon. Right now I'm just putting pieces and pieces and scratching it out, because of course starving artist is always uncertain. If you get picked up by a company, you're going to be very busy. If you don't get picked up by a company, you're going to be very not busy. Just keep your mind on projects and keep learning, and get outside and do some of this artwork out in the general public. It might draw in some fans and might get some attention of companies. Yep, that's it. This is Where Art.